So the first Mission Impossible movie came out 25 years ago. Yeah, 25 years. And in that time, the franchise has changed a lot. You look at the big, extravagant, spectacle, blockbuster action films that they are, and compare them to the fairly low-key spy thriller that it came from, and they don't seem connected at all. Or do they? I decided to go back to the original movie and see if it really does fit with the others and whether or not it, as a film on its own, works. And I decided to do that by watching it in the format that I feel like Tom Cruise always intended it to be seen in, on an old tablet.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't.
Alright, I'm Greg, and Mission Impossible. Does it hold up? Let's do this. Okay, so let's just get this out of the way right at the front. Does this movie hold up? Yeah, I think so. Video over? No, because I want to talk about why it holds up. I think that there's two reasons. The first is the way Brian De Palma directs this movie. He is not what I would call a subtle filmmaker. I think that works for Mission Impossible because what it really does is it allows him to use his crazy camera work and his, tight editing to really elevate these dialogue scenes.
Celebration was on. Yeah.
The plot of this movie itself is kind of just a bunch of scenes to get you from one plot twist to the next. So having this more extreme style of filmmaking behind it really keeps you gripped on what is otherwise fairly thin material. I really think that that's what a spy thriller needs to work, is strong directing even when the script lacks. And this movie has that in spades. So the second reason I think this movie holds up is it has some very memorable action scenes. So that's really become the calling card or crutch of this entire franchise as a whole, with crazy stunts where Tom Cruise runs up buildings and Henry Cavill reloads his arms. But it's something that this first film does very well in its own way. The train sequence at the end is pretty good. The CGI is of its time, and I'm not really going to make that a criticism because, it all still works, and it's pretty tense the whole way through. The real showstopper, though, is the heist scene roughly in the middle of the movie. I think that is nail-biting tension in a way that nothing else in the franchise has done since, and that's really cool. And while you can point out other heist-style films that have done sequences similar to this was a huge mainstream hit, and I think that this is the scene that cemented the franchise as a whole. What I'm most impressed about watching it now is the sound design. I can't really think of any blockbuster movies now that would allow so much of one of their big sequences to be done in such hushed, near silence. It keeps that quiet going for almost 20 minutes, and even when it cuts out of the vault, the sound doesn't pick up there. It's still fairly kept down, and it doesn't have crazy music playing in the background. It really allows the moment to be itself as quiet as it would be in the reality of the scenario. And I appreciate that, because like I said, I can't think of any blockbusters now that would do that.
Toast.
I think more action sequences can learn from what the heist in Mission Impossible does. Unrelated, I just want to bring up that I like that at the beginning of the movie, you don't know, if you haven't seen these films, that Tom Cruise is the only character that survives the first job. And I like that they set up a decent camaraderie with these characters. If you don't know what's going to happen, you really feel like these are distinct enough characters that will grow throughout the film. They don't, and Tom Cruise's character doesn't either, but I do think the initial setup works well on its own as intended. Anyways, that's why I think Mission Impossible holds up. No big surprises or revelations here, just the fact that in terms of a movie that is designed to get you from plot twist to action sequence to plot twist, it does so very well. It's not some perfect film, but it does exactly what it intends to do, and it's a good ride from start to finish. If you've got an idea for a movie that would be a good idea to look back on and see if it's as good as we remember, figuring out if it holds up, let me know. I'm looking for suggestions. I'm probably going to do Donnie Darko in October because I believe that movie has an anniversary coming up as well. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, until next time, have a good one.